What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Real Fans FC. And today we got an interesting one. We got a fun one. I think you guys are going to enjoy a lot. And, we were going to do Concacaf grades based on what happened at the Gold Cup, but a lot of that file and footage got corrupted. So we had to scrap it, sadly, because it didn't make sense to upload it. But we decided to bring this one. And I think this one is actually even a little bit more juicier, honestly, because it's going to get controversial. You guys are probably going to hate us. You guys are probably going to unsubscribe. And you know what? That's okay. You just have no ball knowledge, and that's
Mm,
fine. But we're going to go the top 15. We're going to start from 15 and work our way down. We're going to do like a quick little snippet, like if they moved up in our eyes, if they went down in our eyes. But generally, we're going to go through the 15 and then we're going to discuss after and kind of question each other and figure out why we pick back and forth. But what's going on, Will? Why don't you hit us with the first one, man? Number 15. Who do you got?
Number 15, dude. I got to go roll. Going to Central America, Nicaragua. Los
Okay.
Pinoleros.
Team that didn't even make the Gold Cup. Interesting.
Mm. I listen, dude. This is a team that I think they're interesting. I think obviously they're building. It's been a long project for Los Pinoleros, but yeah. Julian, do you want me to just go 15-1 or do you want to go 15-15? How do you want
Yeah,
to do
we'll
it?
go. I'll do 15. I'll do 15 now. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
I got Guadalupe.
Okay,
I got
okay,
Guadalupe. I think
okay.
Guadalupe, when you're talking about that level of CONCACAF, that lower C, upper D tier CONCACAF, this is a team that can scare you, man. They could bang you golazos outside the box. Like they have some shooters up top.
They got some
I think
shooters.
they're a scary team when you're talking about that level. And yeah, I got Guadalupe, man. They're cracking the 15.
Yeah, they do. You're right. They got some COD players on that team, man. They got some 360 no scopers. So, yeah, number 14 though, I got to go with Guadalupe. That's who I've got on my list, dude. Interesting team, like you said. You said it well. A couple shooters, LeBeau. Oh my gosh, dude, I can't remember that guy. He scored that goal also against us. But no, dude, they're good. Listen, a lot of guys that play in Ligue 2 over in France. A lot of guys that are obviously European based. So this is a team. Sucks to suck. Unfortunately, they are not FIFA recognized. So never going to play in World Cup qualifiers or anything like that. But yeah, solid team. Who's your 14?
This one might be a controversial one,
Oh no.
but maybe not. If
Oh,
you know ball, it's not. I'm going El
oh.
Salvador here.
Mm,
El Salvador, number
mm.
14. This
Wow.
team is just bad. They continue to be bad.
Yeah.
They got a draw, that was the highlight of the tournament in the Gold Cup. Not super high on it.
Right.
And I think
Yeah.
so they did advance to the next round of qualification for the World Cup. So they got a
Yeah.
draw against Suriname, but it was a close one. Puerto Rico was right on their ass, and Puerto Rico needed a win from Suriname. Suriname couldn't get the
Mm.
job done. So by sake of points, El Salvador, they didn't even necessarily you know, they had to get the result, and they did. So I'm going 14 with El Salvador here.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I like that 14 El Salvador. Okay. Okay. Number 13, dude. This is a one that some people might find, like you said, a little bit back and forth, dude. I personally don't think it is, but I'm gonna go with my 13 Martinique. This is a good team,
Interesting.
kind of like El Salvador, obviously, or excuse me, not like El Salvador, like Guadalupe, not FIFA recognized. They got some shooters, dude. This is a team as well that we've seen. They've been to multiple Gold Cups. They've shown it as well. Obviously, didn't get to go to this last edition. A lot of French-based players. Not a bad team, but yeah, they're my 13.
13, I'm going Trinidad and Tobago. I think while they did not look great in the Gold Cup and they didn't necessarily look good in World Cup qualifying, this is a team, when you're talking about that level of CONCACAF, they're going to beat out most people behind them. The
Yeah,
problem is Trinidad really sucks at trying to punch above their weight, and that's their problem.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. Agree with that. Number 12.
When they're outside of home,
Yeah,
before anybody says anything. Obviously, they get results at home,
yeah.
but outside of
Julian, you might. This is where it's going to start getting a little bit spicy now. You're probably going to be like, Will, what are you talking
okay.
about? You're going to be like, Will, Why are you not saying this team? Dominican Republic is my number 12. I think if you look base to base, out of the three teams that I've just said, Guadeloupe, Martinique, and Nicaragua, I think DR beats all of them. Listen, I understand this is still a team that's fresh. It's like raw chicken, dude. It's like raw chicken. This is something that you have not put in the freezer yet. You haven't even thrown it on the stove, dude.
It's
You're
got
gonna get
blood
out.
on it still.
It's still got blood,
Couple
dude. You just
feathers.
got it. Yeah. Listen, dude, you haven't even put this bad boy in the barbecue yet, dude. You're ready to get it out there. I'm telling you, man, it's a team that excites me after this summer. They got a lot to the table. So, yeah, I got them at 12.
All right, 12. I have Suriname.
Hmm.
I think that they have some great players up top, and I like their goalkeeper. But my God, I believe their midfield and their defense, especially their defense and their center backs, are just so poor.
Yeah.
I mean, they had moments where they looked good and they were able to hold their own, but I got Suriname at 12. And then when it came down to the game that they could have won, they
Yeah.
they against DR, they couldn't.
Mm, mm. I like that. 11. I want to reiterate before I keep going, dude. I'm going to say a little admission that I left out because you already mentioned this country. I don't have Trinidad and Tobago. This summer was atrocious.
Interesting.
Listen,
Okay, I thought you were going to say another country that I said. So
no,
you don't have Trinidad. Interesting.
I
So that
just don't
means
have
you have the
Trinidad.
other country I was thinking that you were going to say.
We're on 12, right? Yeah. No, 11.
And they're 11, yeah.
Yeah. El Salvador. Essen, I agree with you, dude.
No
El Salvador.
shot, dude. No.
He,
Go.
but
We'll talk
but
about
my
it.
thing is, who 11 is fair. You can't obviously Guatemala, obviously Panama, Costa Rica, Honduras. They pass them. There's no question about that. But you're going to tell me that El Salvador is worse than Nicaragua, Guadeloupe?
No, I didn't.
No,
I
no.
didn't. Yeah.
And I would and to not saying to you, but to other people that would say that, you're wrong. You're wrong. Listen, this is still a team. Obviously, history is rich. We don't play in history. We play in the football of now. And their now is not that bright. It's not that good. But this is still a team that any given day they're going to compete. I say that kind of loosely. I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a strong. Compete with a lowercase c, not crazy. But yeah, I think it's an interesting team. Obviously, like I said, so I'll keep it at 11.
11, I'm not going to dive too much into it, but because you've already said this country, I'm going
Yeah.
Dominican Republic.
So we both got DR in our top 15.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Number 10. So where things might get a little bit juicy. I got Suriname. I think it's a team like you. I won't dive too much because, like you kind of said, you already spoke about them. Some shooters, some ballers. Clean up that center back position, dude. Even the midfield. We could be talking about a top 7, 8 team pretty soon. I got to keep them out of that though. Top 10. I think they're good there.
All right, 10 for me. And this is a
Yeah.
team that, in my opinion, dropped. They were higher in my book coming into this, but due to their performance in the Gold Cup, I got Haiti. I think Haiti really underperformed. I think they had an opportunity to make it out of the group. I thought they were the second best team in that group, and they got a draw against Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
They got a draw against. They lost to Saudi Arabia. Did they lose or they draw Saudi Arabia? Either way, they should have won the game.
They
And
drew. Yeah.
then and then USA game. Look, you're
No, they
probably going to
lost.
lose that one. USA, you're probably going to lose that one, but I would have liked them to look a little bit more competitive. If Perot was just more clinical, dude, like that team has obviously they're missing one of their big starters in Fafa Picot, which is a very integral player for them. But yeah, I got Haiti 10.
Haiti 10. Interesting. I got Haiti 9. Good team, dude.
Yeah.
Listen, obviously they have some names on the team. Didn't show it this summer. At this moment, want to reiterate before we continue, this is our current CONCACAF standings. This is what Julian and me think, guys. This is not, what we
Power
thought.
rankings, let's
These
say.
are power rankings. These are live power rankings for Julian and I, dude. Listen, if you go on the CONCACAF website, they're more than likely taking my rankings because it's the most accurate thing there is out there in the world. So believe
Exactly.
us, dude. Trust us what we have to say. But yeah, I got Haiti 9. Interesting team. I think But you hit it well, dude. Obviously, with the names that they've got, European-based players, also some MLS guys, dude, and your boy over in Miami, it's his name. It's getting out of my mind right now.
Fapico.
Fafa Pico. Listen, dude, good guy. I think he plays well. Solid play. He's quick, man. So I think Haiti's an interesting one, but yeah, they're my 9.
All right, 9. I got Curacao. I really like their performance, not only in club qualifying. I thought they played really well. They played flawless in qualifying.
Yeah.
They looked good. I thought they should have made it out of the group. They should have got that result against Canada. Obviously, they shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever. But overall, I really enjoyed their performance. They got 2 draws. They got 2 results in the tournament. Obviously, you would like to see them advance, but I they had a better performance than Haiti, Dominican Republic, and Suriname. So I can't put them behind any of those teams.
To all my Curaçaoians, I do not have you guys in my top 15. Um,
That is crazy, dude.
I I would like I would like to say that I apologize and please
Oh, so
forgive
not
me.
because you don't have them in the 15, you forgot about them.
I genuinely was not thinking of the Bakuno brothers. I was lost in the
Oh
sauce.
my god.
I was getting lost in the sauce of
Dude
my boy
wasn't in the
Shamar
Eli
Nicholson.
room.
I was not there. I was not there with them. So I apologize, Curacao, but I will stick by my guts. I think all these other teams that I've said are better than you guys. So show me more.
No
Listen,
shot.
this is a team I think they could get better, but that's for another day, dude. Number 8. Now I think this is where we get real juicy, though, Julian. I got to go Guatemala.
Okay.
Guatemala,
Okay.
good summer, great summer, great summer. If you're a Guatemalan, if you're a player, a fan, coach, Tana, whatever, awesome summer, incredible for you guys. I think the level that you guys are at, you're still technically outside of the top 100 in the FIFA rankings. You know, I mean, Julian, you
What
and I,
that's
we've already
worth.
talked a lot about it. If you guys haven't already tuned in, we dropped that video. I don't know if it's already been dropped. We'll see by the time of this recording. But yeah, we talked about the players. There's just not a lot of movement within this national team. I mean, a few guys in the U.S., Olger Escobar, Aaron Herrera, Rubio Rubin. But listen, I know I'm gonna get a lot of crap, dude, for this take. But the teams that we're about to talk about in a minute, I can't. We'll get to it in a second, but I just can't put Guatemala ahead of them. Not yet. Just not yet.
Number 8, I got Jamaica. I got the Reggae Boys. I thought being 8 is generous
Wow.
just because and they're relying on the talent in my opinion, but this team has looked god awful.
Yeah.
They've looked horrendous. They had the worst Gold Cup showing they've had in Lord knows how long. It was so bad. They got absolutely outclassed by Guatemala, and on that account, I can't put Guatemala behind them. You can have all the talent in the world. At this point, I don't care. We've seen it over and over and over again of them consistently underperforming, and they're 8 in my book. We've had them at 6 forever. It comes to a certain point where you have to punish them in the rankings. Like they're just not 6 anymore. They're not. They
Yeah.
haven't proved it. They've never proved it. The only thing they proved it by was just getting this certain players. So I got Jamaica 8.
I got Jamaica 7. Like I said, dude, I just can't. Jamaica, prior to the Gold Cup, beat Guatemala. Yes, B team. Yes, both teams already qualified to the next round. Yes, Guatemala rolled out of B school. Whatever. They beat them 3-0 in Kingston. 3-0. And Jamaica rolled out a B team as well. Let's not act all silly now. Let's not act like, oh, yeah, they went out there with every star guy they could find. No. Mason Greenwood was not on that field. Ethan Pinnock was not on that field. I don't even think Leon Bailey was on that field. Listen, I agree, dude. Jamaica has
Home field
under.
though, not on a neutral field.
Yeah, true. My thing with this team and this Jamaican team, I will bump them down. Obviously, like you said, they're not that 4. No, excuse me, 4. They're not at that 6 status. Some people would even argue say 5, and you're delusional if you're saying that. But I can't get them over Guatemala. I can't get the Guatemalans over there. It's just not. I have to see more. I've got to see more. It was a one-off game. I get it. Group stage, Gold Cup. I I don't know. It was good. Obviously, Guatemala deserved to win. I'm not saying they didn't. Jamaica rightfully lost, but I got to see a little bit more. from those guys to put them up a little bit. But yeah, I got Jamaica at 7.
All right, 7. I have Honduras. I think Honduras, they got the results they needed to. Obviously, they had a great turnaround, but I can't help but look at that Canada loss. It was just
Mm.
way too bad. It's way too bad to disregard. And yeah, they did redeem themselves, but they also, in that Panama game, they didn't really look that good. If anything, they should have won that game outside of penalty shootouts. They had a few chances where like dudes completely whiffed it, and they just were so unclinical. Like they just do not have a goal scorer at all in this Honduran team. And then when they went against Mexico, they had moments, and I think that's what this Honduras team is so far that I've seen. There's just moments where they look good, but then for most of the game, they just disappear. And they're just non existent and they're struggling and they can't get anything going. So that's why I got Honduras at 7.
Interesting. I've got
But they
Honduras
did
at
make it
6.
to a semifinals. It was a
Yeah,
underperforming semifinal
yeah,
run,
yeah,
semifinal run, I should say.
yeah. I've got Honduras at 6. They've done enough, and they've proved to me, like you said. I agree with you, dude. Obviously, it's not the most convincing fashion, but this is still a team that beats, for some reason, Mexico can't even touch them when they're at home. This is a team within Concacaf, one Nations League semifinal in the past 4 editions. Gold Cup 2021 made it out of the group stage. Made it. Check that. Excuse me. Yeah, made it to a quarterfinals. 2023 did not get out of the group stage. Got really unfortunate goal difference against Qatar. But yeah, this is a team that I guess you could say consistent when it comes to it. They're always going to get a win at the Gold Cup. They're going to compete, whether it's a Nations League, they're going to beat Mexico at home and then obviously sell it away. But this is a team, they got a couple names on here. Obviously, they've gotten a couple wins, but I think Honduras is one of those teams. Whether it's not pretty, obviously, I agree. It's horrendous, Paul Doll, dude. It is. It's absolutely bad. It's just not. It's not the beautiful game that we know, but they get results, against these smaller teams that they need to be beating. So in that regards,
Barely, at least recently.
barely, but dude, hey, like Costa Rica, a win is a win. You guys barely beat Dominican Republic. A win is a win, though. At the end of the day, that's how I look at it. Even Panama, dude, we barely beat Belize, but we still won. So I have to give credit to that. Obviously, like you said, dude, it's an interesting team, but I'll keep them at 6. I'm assuming you have Guatemala at 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Guatemala at 6. I really enjoyed their performance. I think they played good football. There was a lot of performances where they looked good. I mean, they looked good against Jamaica. Um, they looked good against Guadeloupe. I think they held their own against Panama. I think defensively they were pretty solid for the most part. They didn't necessarily get blown out in their losses. I mean, obviously you could say that Panama probably should have put more away, but at the end of the day they didn't. And that's more of a Panama issue, I guess. But I do think just even against in the USA game, there was moments there where they looked really solid against a full whatever USA the team they brought. They were full strength. It wasn't like they're missing players
Yeah.
for those specific games, and they looked solid, man. I was really impressed by their performance. I didn't think that they just held on for dear life and they just kind of like struggled and somehow got through that. And that's how I kind of felt with Honduras versus I feel like Guatemala. Yeah, people want to say the red card and all this other stuff. Look, it's part of the game. It happened. It's a red card. Sucks for Canada. That's on them. You can't blame Guatemala for getting the victory because Canada made a mistake. They still did what they had to do. It would be more embarrassing if they lost while Canada was on a red card.
Yeah.
They did what any team was supposed to do, beat the team without a red card, and they did that. So yeah, I got them 6. Let's go to 5.
Let's go to 5, dude. Your boys, man. Los Ticos. Solid Gold Cup. Obviously, this summer's been pretty, I wouldn't say a breeze. Obviously, World Cup qualifiers kind of went in smooth to it. You guys had, obviously, a solid group stage. We've talked a lot about that already, Julian, you and me. But yeah, I've got you guys at 5. I think you guys are still at that same place that you were going into the Gold Cup, now even coming out of the Gold Cup. I have no lateral move, no upward, no downward move. Just keeping it there for y'all.
Yeah, I don't think they've done enough to get into the top 4. I think the problem is Costa Rica's kind of on an island, I feel like after 5 it's a big drop off, but they haven't necessarily done anything yet to get into the top four, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I do think the team has improved. I do feel better coming out of this tournament. I think if they would have beat the USA there, I'd probably have them crack the top four, but they didn't because you beat USA. It's honestly a really good chance you beat Guatemala there. You end up in a final, which is the first Gold Cup final in a while, but they couldn't get the job done. So I'm going to have to keep them where they are. But I do think, even though they're not moving in the rankings, I do think there was a lot to learn, and I do think they progressed as a team, but just not enough to get into the top four.
Mm. Interesting. Interesting. I hear that take. I hear that take. I will say though, I definitely do agree a little bit with you were saying that first about that little bit of an island. There's a little bit of a gap. Listen, I think Honduras, Jamaica, and Guatemala are kind of competing within that. You know, I would say I would personally I would put you guys in the same category as kind of like second tier teams, but at the same time, Guatemala just moved up, dude. Guatemala is kind of like that kid that just graduated second grade and they're going to the third grade. It's kind of like, oh, I'm fresh, man. I'm here. I just showed up, just showed out, kind of like you just got promoted. Jamaica's that kid that's still getting held back in grades. He's now kind of getting demoted, kid that didn't pass his test, stuff like that. And Honduras is just that kid that's always kind of been there. So
They
I think
squeaked
it's
by. They got C's.
hey, C's get them degrees, dude. So I think it's hard to say because Costa Rica, you guys are kind of like in that. I think it splits 50-50. I agree somewhat. I would say a year ago, you guys were in that camp. Obviously, you're kind of trajecting now a little bit away from that camp, but it's still split 50-50. But yeah, I agree. Number 5. Number 4, I'm going to just drop it. It's Canada. It's Canada. It's a team, dude, like Costa Rica in the essence within the past few years. They just have not shown me. Copa America, awesome. That was great. Very, very good. Like you said earlier, you can't take away from other teams. It's not Canada's fault that Chile and Peru decided they wanted to pull up for a boxing match, and that was their choice. They got red cards. Canada did their business, went to the quarterfinals, beat Venezuela, made a semifinal. Incredible, incredible run. Not taking away from them, but within other games, within friendlies, within obviously these gold cups. 2023 was the same thing. Got eliminated in the quarterfinals, to a USAC team. Nations League has not really been the best. Made a final a couple of years ago. This past one got knocked out in the semis. Canada they're incredible team. Nobody's saying that. Obviously, this is a good team. This is a very, very good team. And I think they're obviously as well in that upward trajectory. But I just think they got to find and figure out a few more pieces within this team and get some results. Get some results here more in CONCACAF and within their games. It's just been a tough one. But yeah, I got to go. I'll go Canada 4.
I'm not going to add to that. I completely agree with you. I'm going Canada there, and especially with the underperformance of this tournament, just to add to that
Yeah.
part. So we can go to
Yeah.
3.
Julian, I want to let you go first on your 3.
God, Will's going to have some ridiculous hot take with
Here
Panama. Here we go. All right. I'm
you
going
know it.
3 with Panama. I
Okay.
think, obviously, outside of the disaster class that happened in the second half against Honduras, I think I had Canada 4 coming into here. I had Panama 3 coming into here, and I'm probably going to leave them that way. I don't feel like either team really increased or decreased. I think Panama had a good showing and beat the teams they were supposed to beat, except when it came to Honduras for whatever reason. But yeah, obviously Panama was missing their best player, in my opinion, the most integral player, at least, in Coco Carrasquilla. So I got to keep him at 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, dude. Listen, unlike Canada, I mean, for me personally, I would say there's a lot of big names, but for the outside world, there's no names other than like Amir Murillo and a Coco Carrasquilla, and, if you want to throw in like a Cota Cordoba as well, there's no massive, massive names, massive clubs, massive trajectory. Well, there is a big trajectory, but this is a team, like you said, dude. I agree.
No
I got to
star.
go. Well, I think there's star players within Concacaf, but when you go outside of there, other than a Coco and a Murillo, which we saw last summer in the Copa America, we don't have that guy yet that's gonna be like, boom, I'm gonna take a hold of the game. But I will say though, this is a team that a lot of people, and I very, very strongly disagree with, dude. Many people have said out there in this YouTube world that we've hit the top. This is a team that's maxed out. They've done it all. Completely disagree. I think if anything, dude, I think we're at 50%. I think, like you said, Julian, an atrocious second half against Honduras, not the most smoothest and comfortable World Cup qualifiers. Struggled in that first half against Nicaragua. So this is a team that there's so many little different areas I could see us just cleaning up and being so clinical. Obviously, I'm going to be realistic, but I'm also going to be hopeful because this is my national team. I could see this team getting one day in CONCACAF, being the number one on the power ranking. It's hard to say as well because beating the USA 3 times in 3 competitive games, people can say whatever they want. Oh, it was away. Oh, it was a Gold Cup. Oh, it was a C team. Oh, Timothy Weah pulled up to a boxing match. We still won. We still won all those games. So at the end of the day, I think it's been a solid one for us. It's just been something that we've been able to do just to show that level that we have. Like you said, I got to keep us at 3. This summer was a little bit slightly disappointing. It was a little bit negative to see the guys not being able to finish their their games out. But yeah, I think Thomas Christensen. I think this is a team that keeps it there, and to keep at a 3 position, dude. I'm not complaining with. I'm good with that. So
Yeah, I'll pretty much knock off 2 and 1, obviously,
yeah.
because once I give you 2, you already know what 1 is. I'm just
Mm.
gonna go USA at 2 and Mexico at 1. I'm not gonna dive too much into it. I mean, people, if you want to hear about Mexico and USA talk, there's plenty of shit out there.
Yeah.
But Mexico won. They've got 2 trophies back to back. USA underperformed both previous tournaments. I got to keep them at 2. USA, at the end of the day, they're just, when it comes to talent pool and their player development and what they've done, I can't necessarily put Panama ahead of them in terms of that. But yeah, I'm going Mexico number 1 because Mexico is just continuously um, getting the job done. It wasn't the prettiest tournament, but they're getting it done for the most part.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Obviously, I'm gonna go with that as well. 2 USA, 1 Mexico. Self-proclaimed kings of Concacaf, if you want to give them that. Listen, I would give that king. I would give that K with a lowercase K. It's not an uppercase. It's not a dominant, like you said. It's not this absolute victorious team that's been outplaying all these teams out of the park. I do still think the gap is tighter than what a lot of people would say. I don't think the United States is quite just knocked out. Obviously, it's been rough this summer. They didn't learn anything. A lot of people have already kind of talked about it, and you and I have talked about it before, Julian. This United States men's national team had a lot of questions going into the summer, and nothing really got answered. Quite disappointing. And in Mexico regards, it feels like more questions are being answered. They're learning stuff, finding out different pieces. So yeah, and then at the end of the day, they have won the last 2 editions of CONCACAF tournaments. So unfortunately, can't go against that. But yeah, USA 2, Mexico 1.
So just to recap, and then you can ask me any questions, and then I could bring up any things that I disagree with you real quick. We're not going to keep it too long on this, but
Yeah.
yeah. So 15 Guadeloupe, 14 El Salvador, 13 Trinidad, 12 Suriname, 11 Dominican Republic, 10 Haiti, 9 Curacao, 8 Jamaica, 7 Honduras, 6
All right.
Guatemala, 5 Costa Rica, 4 Canada, 3 Panama, 2 USA, 1 Mexico.
I'll go real quick on mine, dude. 15 Nicaragua, 14 Guadeloupe, 13 Martinique, 12 Dominican Republic, 11 El Salvador, Suriname 10, Haiti 9, Guatemala 8, Jamaica 7, Honduras 6, Costa Rica 5, Canada 4, Panama 3, United States men's national team 2, and Mexico number 1. I'll let you.
I tell you what's
Yeah.
interesting is I would say 6 through 8 was an interesting one. It's hard to pick, and then 9 through 12 was tough. It's like you could see either one of those come, but
Yeah.
I will say the biggest omissions to me, from what I heard from you, no Curacao is crazy in my opinion. That's wild. I don't buy that.
Yeah.
You've already heard my thoughts on the Jamaica Guatemala thing. I think Guatemala should hop both Honduras and Jamaica. That they just look better. Um, and then I think Trinidad is 13. I don't necessarily agree with the Martinique at 13. I think Trinidad, even though look, they haven't looked that good recently, they do tend to take care of business when it comes to these smaller nations. So
Hmm.
that's all I got to say about your list. What do you have about mine?
Yeah. before we go ahead and say, I just want to say Curacao yet again to the Curaçaoan people. I did not mean to omit you guys from this list.
No, he
This
meant
was
it. He meant it.
this was a completely mistake, a complete
You
error
said they're
on my part.
forgettable. It's wild.
Did not say that. Did not say that. I just said I forgot,
Your
and
actions mean more than your words.
this was a just a list that I kind of made off the top of my head, kind of just quick with it and whatnot. So, but yeah, all I gotta really say, dude, agree with it. I kind of I like I like uh kind of like how you were saying, dude. We were talking about it earlier about the groups, kind of categorizing it. I think 1 to 4 is a solid group. I obviously Mexico, Panama, USA, and Canada. I think you can categorize. I think we can combine them into a kind of like that group A of CONCACAF, that top tier. Second tier, I would put Costa Rica in just for now. Costa Rica, Honduras, Jamaica, and Guatemala. Obviously, you have more higher teams within that tier, but I think that's like a second tier within CONCACAF. And then you kind of have that third tier. And kind of like you said, dude, it's just kind of like, you know, it's expanded a little bit more. Obviously, you have teams like what, for my list, with likes of Nicaragua, and you had on there obviously Trinidad and Curacao and DR. I think a lot of these teams on any given day could beat each other, whether it's at home, whether it's an away. Obviously, you have more of your highly favorites, whether it's a Suriname or a Haiti, a little bit more experience, Curacao as well. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I think CONCACAF, I'll be real with you, Julian, and this is more of an overall general take. I think CONCACAF is growing. I know there's been this debate whether or not it's getting better. I genuinely do see improvement from these smaller teams. I see teams that are able to not only try to compete, and I'm not saying try to knock out tier 1, tier 2 teams, but be able to compete within themselves and make things more interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I believe I'll say this. I think the C tier teams have risen in talent and player profile and their performances and stuff. I still feel like the B and A tier team is kind of the same. I mean, maybe the A tier is a little bit better because you have the likes of Canada in there now, and I would say USA, but Mexico, even though they're number one right now, they're not like the best Mexican team I've seen. This isn't the best Costa Rican team we've seen. This isn't the best Honduras team we've seen. Like we've seen better B tier squads before. Now I do think that Panama's probably at their peak of all time, and reaching there, but I do think the B tier has been a little stagnant. Even Jamaica's been better. Um, but the C tier teams have risen and how are closing the gap between B and C, which you could say in years past, that gap from the tier 2 teams to the tier 3 teams was massive.
Yeah,
Now it's kind of
yeah,
shrinking a little bit.
yeah,
But I would say the tier 2 has remained a little stagnant. I do think some teams are on the rise, but we'll see.
yeah.
And I will say this, the top 5 is the most competitive it's been in a while.
Agree. Yeah,
Probably
I
yeah.
I agree with that. I don't disagree with that. I think, like you said, I think obviously, dude, we're going to talk a lot more about it with World Cup qualifiers. Literally a month away, dude. Less than a month now. So it's eating up, but it's exciting, man. It's good times to be a Concacaf man. So
Yeah, and that's pretty much the end of this episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed our rankings. If you think we're dumb, if you think we're stupid, if you don't agree with us at all, let us know in the comments down below. We greatly appreciate it. The simple fact that you even stayed here this long. But yeah, if you're listening to audio, go check out the YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, go check out the audio. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.
peace.